Yeah. Yeah. And so this moment of time where we're talking about gratitude. It's the month of gratitude. November, of course, falls perfectly with this whole theme of gratitude. It's actually radical appreciation is the topic for the month. And so I'm diving deeper into how we can embrace gratitude in such a way that we can literally create heaven on earth. Sounds kind of like a tall order, doesn't it? Right? Little old me making that big of a difference. But why is gratitude important? I mean, are we always in it? Are we always on? Do we have days that maybe we're not grateful? We're not feeling that? And so when practicing anything, when we practice it with intention and attention, this is so true with the practice of gratitude. We seek to look for the good, but we have an intention in our practice around that to make that so. True? How many people actually have a gratitude practice or a gratitude journal? Yeah, that's great. Quite a few of you do. And so for the others, I would invite you to kind of bring this into your life and witness the true miracles that unfold as you create that shift, that energetic shift, to bring more gratitude into your life. And if I could quote the song, we don't talk about the song, so I don't always know what songs are going to play, but they're always in perfect alignment. So thank you. But gratitude, I am awakening. I am awakening. And if anything could really be put in a simple form, is gratitude is that energetic element that we can embody within ourselves that truly bring us to an awakening as ourself, and because we're an integral part of the dynamic of humanity to the world as well. So the practice of gratitude, I would say, is probably one of the most important things, and it's probably one of the simplest to do. I would say if you were to sit down with somebody and say, can you feel joy? Well, no, Ron, I can't feel joy. My day isn't going off that well. Have you ever had those moments where you can't feel joy? Or love. And we know love is, I can't feel love. I'm not feeling love. But if you were to ask somebody, tell me something you're grateful for. Tell me somebody that you're grateful for. Tell me what's been going good in your life. And we bring attention to that. And it starts to shift. It's like the person's lights go on. You can see that they're sitting into their body a little deeper, and they're breathing a little deeper, and they've got this energetic presence about them because now their mental activity, as well as their body, is feeling the sense of presence. So gratitude becomes, I would say, the perfect life hack for when things aren't going well. But why else do we do this? Why practice gratitude? Why is it important? What does it do for us? Changes what? Do you say frequency? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you've seen Hawkins' scale of consciousness, gratitude is kind of like right up there with love and joy. And just like I said, not sometimes we can't get to love and joy, but we can get to being grateful for something. And we talk so much about the law of attraction, and the truth is it's not always that we get what we want, because sometimes what we're wanting is coming from a space of lack, of not having, but we do get what we're a vibrational match to. True? We essentially become what we're a vibrational match to. So by raising our frequency is a good practice, not only for ourselves, but for our own little circle of connections, as well as the greater world, because we are the element that can make that change. When we talk about heaven, quite often you'll hear the phrase, heaven is where? Within. Thank you, Leland. He's actually pointing like, within. Between you and Roger, you're sitting right in line of sight there. Yeah. So we have the ability to embody that, bring it into our awareness consciously, but come from the heart, from the head into the heart space, and be able to really, really embrace it, as well as not only embrace it and feel it, but also express it. So I would say even with a gratitude journal, it's one thing to consciously write the words, and even though it may be rote and it may be mechanical, but to feel it, to pause, to take the moment for whatever that you're grateful for, and actually sink deeply into that, and then also express it. Speak it out loud. Share gratitude with a friend. Do this for a moment. So embodying quite often means bringing it to the body. So if you were to take your hands and put your hands over your heart, we have energy centers within the palms of our hands. We bring our hands over to our heart and we say, I appreciate me. I appreciate me. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah. And so that's bringing it into the heart, bringing it into the body. I appreciate me. And then turn to a neighbor and bring the palms as a blessing, like you're giving a blessing to someone. And say, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And so an activity or in stillness or an expression from the eyes to the other eyes, one soul looking at another, we sink deeply into this moment, into this now moment, and we really feel the deepening sense of gratitude, that deepening sense of presence that radiates through us, but through all living beings. And we typically get so caught up in the everyday activity of the hamster wheel of life that sometimes we don't take those moments, those special moments, to really truly connect with the self and with others. And even, I would say, even with nature, with your total surroundings. So there's so many things to be grateful for. But what I feel is one of the biggest things I like to do is bring things into an intentionality of a practice. Because until we can make it habitual, then it's something hey, Ron talked about it on one Sunday, and it's gone. And life has taken over. On my bicycle journey across the United States, all 67 days, I brought a journal with me. And every night, I just counted my blessings. There were just so many wonderful people, so many wonderful places, so many wonderful things that happened. And in the morning, it was more or less more of a prayer, for the day. But I found that by doing that, the true magic starts to unfold. The synchronicities, everything was like just a living, breathing miracle carrying me across the country. And so I would say do that in your life, but commit to a habit. Who's got the slide? Who's doing the slides? Sure. Yeah. So I would welcome you. I have this on my website. You don't need to put in an email. So I'm not going to track you with emails. I'm not going to track your cookies. I don't even know what a cookie is, except for my mom's chocolate chip cookies. I was like, but the ability to be able to, I don't know if the QR code's working because of the free download, but just Ronald Frost /gratitude. It's free. You click on the picture, it opens up. There's a download button, and you can download it to your phone or your device. You can actually, basically it's 21 days of a slightly different intention around gratitude. And to spend a little bit of time in the moment of that thought process. Because when we do this, again, intentionally, we start to build not only a habit, we're exercising that gratitude muscle like every single day, and it starts to become a normal thing for us. And anybody who's ever done this, they've always come back to me and said, wow, because I tell them, be aware of what's happening in your life. Because good things start to happen. New relationships are formed, new opportunities, old relationships are reunited, more abundance in your life. You'll witness the magic that starts to unfold. It starts to unfold. And so, again, anytime I'm working with somebody, they may not be able to get joy, they may not be able to get love, but gratitude. Everybody can find something that they're grateful for. And I normally don't ask them about their kids. I know it's normally the right thing to do, but they may have gotten into an argument recently with their kids. But talk about their cat. Normally you don't get into an argument with your cat. Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah. Right, Roger? Like, scratching the furniture again.
Oh, yes.
Your scratch post is over here, but they're like over at the couch. Imagine going to your therapist, sitting on the couch saying, it's me and the cat again. I don't know. Little codependency here. I feed him, I clean his litter box, spends all day long with his friends doing catnip. I, I need to set some healthy boundaries here. But to be able to bring it into our regular life, true power starts to unfold. The things that we've been seeking start to show up. The divine synchronicity of angel numbers across your phone or your clocks or your license plates that pass you by. You know, things that people that start to rendezvous with you that are on your path that can serve and help you. All this starts to unfold. And everything in life you start to feel the presence of, and you recognize it in other people too. Like the presence of Phyllis back there, just glowing. Just glowing. Vibration or frequency matches frequency. So as we raise the frequency through the practice of gratitude and being grateful for whatever it is, because there's so many things in our life that we can be grateful for. So many things that we can be grateful. We can be grateful even for technology, the fact that this microphone works, the fact that we've got an audience on Zoom. I mean, we can look at sometimes the negative side of things. We can say, wow, it's habitual, you know, we can be addicted to it. Too much of it may not be a good thing, but think about how it connects us all over the world. Just in my podcast, I'm connected to so many people now. If I say to do anything, do a podcast. Because that really connects you to people. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. And if it wasn't for technology, somebody in India wouldn't have noticed I was on Facebook riding my bike across the country and wouldn't have sent me the invite, to which I'm doing now. So then the life unfolds exactly that way. Life unfolds exactly that way. If we can go to the next slide. So gratitude for what I would say is support, because we're always supported, both by the visible and the invisible realm. We are constantly supported. We are here to live our most joyous expression of our life. We are here to give our sacred gift to the world. We are here not to live in our fears, our worries, our doubts, our limited thinking, or our wounded self. And even with that, gratitude is the space for healing. To be able to truly be able to be in touch with our shadow side and to recognize it and to be with it and to sit and to breathe with it, but to be grateful for our awareness. Because quite often we talk about spiritual bypassing. Gratitude really isn't a Pollyanna positive program. It's a state of beingness. And from that state of beingness, we have awareness. And we can be aware of these patterns that are going on in our life that may be wanted patterns, and we can bring love and light to it. Instead of shaming it and trying to close it down and shut it down, we can be honest and authentic with ourselves. And gratitude gives us that space for true healing. Just like in the ancient Hawaiian practice of Ho'oponopono. Anybody familiar with that? Yeah, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. Thank you is one of the words within there. Gratitude is expressed in the Science of Mind prayer. There's typically five lines of the Science of Mind prayer, and the fourth one is giving thanks for the truth that has been spoken, knowing it is already done. And so when I was on my bike trip, day number 20, going across 67 days across the country, I think it was September 3rd. I was leaving Terre Haute, Indiana. I had stayed with a family. I camped most of my trip, but I actually had an app where I was able to look up people, and I was able to send messages to them, and these were cyclists supporting cyclists, and I got invitations. Like most of them said yes. And why not experience being with other people, especially if they're into this crazy thing called riding a bike? So I had reached out to a person in Shelbyville, Illinois, and I was leaving a family that had already agreed for me to stay in Terre Haute, Indiana, a wonderful family. And I reached out to a Mark and Joni, who's on this slide here, and Mark said yes. It was 94 miles. I'm typically riding like 55 to 65 miles. I got about 100 pounds on between my bike and the stuff I'm carrying is about 100 pounds, and of course, then my body weight included with that. And it was I did great. I started off really early, beautiful ride. I was cruising down a bike path for a very, very long portion of half the day. And then as I got closer to Shelbyville, closer to Mark and Joni's house, I had to get off the bike path because it ended. And my route was taking me down a little shoulder, which was probably no bigger than this black strip right here. There was a rumble strip, and a rumble strip was one of these things that was going like back and forth. It's like, who created this rumble strip? Glass, trying to avoid glass, and I was probably going faster than I should have. And then all there is really cornfields and farms. Just cornfields after cornfields after cornfields, like middle of nowhere, very little traffic. But here I am riding down this shoulder as fast as I could. I was like in high gear, probably about 5 to 7 miles away from Mark and Joni's house. And then it was like one of these moments where the film strip of your life was cut out because I don't remember falling. All I remember is the next scene was I'm standing up and I'm talking to a guy that looks like a paramedic. He actually looked like Jesus, a little bit more Irish, but he was wearing a paramedic suit. He had an ambulance behind him. And he started asking questions like, who's the president of the United States? What year is it? Where do you live? And apparently I got them all right. And then he asked this one question. If you're from Sarasota, Florida, why are you riding your bike through the middle of Illinois? To which I say, can I call my wife? I really didn't know. It was like your computer rebooted and the hard drive hasn't reloaded all those programs. And it's like, that's the one question. It's like, this really weird. Why am I riding my bike in the middle of Illinois, right? Through all these cornfields. It just didn't make sense to me. And I left this crazy, I got voicemail, so I left a crazy voicemail on Fonny's machine. But here's where the miracle happened. You always have this support. You always have this support. So I agreed to get in the back of the ambulance and go with them. Apparently I had bruised myself and I was bleeding a little bit. On the ride there, I said, okay, how long was I out for? Like, when did you guys show up? Oh, we were just driving down the road. Wow. And right? I'm like, two guys joyriding in an ambulance looking for a cyclist to fall off his bike? That doesn't really happen. But here's the other thing, was then he goes, well, where are you going to stay? And I explained to him about this app and Cyclists Supporting Cyclists. I said, you probably don't know the guy, and I told him the guy's name. He knew Mark. He had his number in his cell phone. He said, I'm just going to call him. I'm going to tell him to come to the hospital and pick you up there. And so I did, and I ended up staying with them. They actually said I could stay a couple of nights, but I actually felt very good the very next morning and took off again. Beautiful couple. The sheriff picked up my bike on the side of the road, brought it to the station. Mark came back and picked up the bike. He made some repairs on it for me. I mean, don't they look like two angels? Just to have that support and just to know that in our life, whatever dream, desire, or goal, or passion that you have within you, you are meant to do that. And you have this infinite support. And it's gratitude. It's thinking deep into the heart and knowing and trusting that all life is flowing for you, through you, and as you. And it's supporting you and uplifting you in every single way. Through the caregivers of the hospital. I mean, who could not have gratitude for somebody that dedicates their life? Any caregivers in here? Yeah, that's a special thing to commit to do. That's a heart-centered service when other humans are down and they need help. And just to know that people, as I journeyed across the country, people were always there, always interested, always supporting. And I give so much love. I'm lost for words, really. Of just knowing how everything really went, everything unfolded.
When is the Netflix movie coming out?
I needed the heckler. It's always telling me time to wrap up. So, moving on, it's not just the fact that we're just doing this alone too. Not only do we have support, but we're not just doing this all alone. When we bring consciousness together, we can create an energetic shift on the planet. And I know many of us have probably seen the stuff that Lynn McTaggart has done, or the, the Global Coherence Project, HeartMath. There's a lot of studies out there, and you can research this, and you can find how people have gotten together. They've stopped wars. They've created great change just by intentionality, prayer, raising that frequency of gratitude. And so the one that I remember, because I was connected to it, I just showed up to this center, and it was like 2010, and I was reading a book called Dream Healer. Anybody ever read that book? Written by a young man named Adam, and he was a remote healer. And he could heal people all over the planet, just through his intention, through his ability to visualize the healing, and to hold the heart space of gratitude that it's already done. Gratitude that it's already done. And so when the petroleum spill, the Deepwater petroleum spill happened in the Gulf of Mexico, which was April of 2010, I got an email from this young man. I didn't even know I was on his email list. And I think I shared with some of the people that are here, but Deepak Chopra had a group going, and Lynn McTaggart had her group, Paul White had, so many people were doing prayer and consciousness work about this oil spill. But Adam reached out to me, and he sent a little video showing where the video was helping you visualize, showing that this well had gotten capped off and that the Black Sea slowly started becoming blue. And all he did for us is just feel the feeling of it's already done in your heart with the deepest sense of gratitude. We were supposed to meet for 3 days to do this, to commit to this. And I committed to it, but we only met once, because within 24 hours later, over multiple attempts, they finally sealed off the well. 24 hours after we brought this practice in. And there was a large group of people that were doing this. Now, you can say that was coincidence, but here's what happened. Within 3 days, a mysterious bacteria that was oil-eating started to form plumes around the oil field. And if it wasn't for the amount of this bacteria that started to multiply, no scientist, nobody could explain this, that the process of being able to turn something toxic into something that is non-toxic through a microorganism, such as an oil-eating bacteria. It was phenomenal. Call it miracle, call it God, call it consciousness. And call it what you want. When you bring intention and intention together, you can create 2 miracles. 2 or more minds get together and hold this consciousness. We can create heaven on earth. We are that powerful. So I'll leave you with the sunflower. The sunflower is known as being heliotropic, meaning it basically follows the sun. In the morning, when the sun is in the east, the flower faces east. As the sun goes across the sky to the west, the flower turns and faces to the west. When the sun goes down, it turns back to the east. Something inside of it knows the seeking the light of the new day. If we could be like the sunflower, with our intention and our attention, being able to, even in the darkest moments of our own life, or the craziness that may be going on in the planet, if we can come into the practice, whether it's the 21 days gratitude journal or the gratitude journal you're presently using, but anchoring it within the body and truly feeling it, truly embodying it, and seeing the light within everything. Even in those darkest moments, like the sunflower, if we can turn and look to the light, the heaven within, that is becoming the heaven of the new day. Thank you. Let me take this into prayer. Thank you for this moment, for this time together. And as we breathe into this moment, we sit in reverence of knowing that there is a divine love, an essence, an infinite presence that is always surrounding us, guiding us, and living through us in every single way, whether we call it spirit, God, or simply the love beauty of the universe. And as we know that this is the very, very envelope to which wraps around every heart within this sacred of light called the Center for Spiritual Living, Cape Coral, whether in presence or whether online in this now moment or maybe viewing this in the future, that there is a sense of oneness. And this essence that is breathing, living, and existing is exploring through endless means of opportunity and abundance. That the sacredness of gratitude is bubbling up in the feeling sense of the body, of the mind, of the spirit, of all of it. And that we are infinitely guided and supported in every single way. Stepping forth into our life with grace, with gratitude, and with the embodiment of heaven on earth. I give thanks for this. And as I surrender, join me with these words in saying, and so it is. Thank you.